What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we have for Monday Night Raw review, the go-home show for Raw to the Royal Rumble. Yes, the Rumble is this Sunday. Can you fucking believe it? Which, I've said it multiple times, this year's Rumble is going to not even feel like a real Royal Rumble because the fans make the Royal Rumble feel special. So, after 2 weeks being off, Drew McIntyre has made his return to Monday Night Raw, sword in hand. He comes in the ring. He talks about this Sunday, talking about how Goldberg was the man back in the day. He had a 173 match streak, won the world title from Hulk Hogan, and recently, since he started coming back, he's had another type of streak. Every championship he goes after, he wins. He's had 2 championship matches where he's the challenger and he's won both of them. But it's a streak, he says. He says, this Sunday it's going to end and I'm going to be still your WWE champion. And let's get this show off to the right start. And out comes the clowns that embarrass themselves every single week, Miz and John Morrison. They come out, they talk trash, they say that Miz is going to be the WWE champion after Sunday because Goldberg and the winner of Goldberg and Drew McIntyre are going to be sitting ducks, which that match is not going to last more than 5 minutes, so I could see if you have like a Drew McIntyre and an AJ Styles go 15, 20 minutes, maybe even 25 minutes, go out there and have a barn burner of a match, yeah, they could be sitting ducks, but these guys are going to be just hard-hitting match, 5 minutes at the most, and it's over. So, Miz and them say they're going to do it. And by the way, Drew McIntyre actually mentioned the words COVID on TV in the Thunderdome. Now, I can understand a pre-recorded video, they could have that on there, but nobody else, except for maybe once in a blue moon, back in like April, has anybody on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown mentions the word COVID-19. So, Goldberg eventually comes out. He says to him and Drew McIntyre get face to face and says, Sunday, you're next. And then Miz and Morrison, dumb as they can be, embarrassing themselves again, just start talking trash and saying, hey, why don't you guys get each other? Drew, he's in your personal space. So Goldberg and Drew McIntyre grab both men, pull them over the ring. Morrison gets hit with a Claymore after Goldberg hits Miz with a spear, and they stare down again, and that is that. Women's Tag Team Champion and Raw Women's Champion Asuka will defend her Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss in the main event. Also, Charlotte Flair faces Shana Beza. We go to commercial break. Back from break, and Charlotte is with Charlotte Caruso in the back. Flair talks about performing well under pressure in regards to Shana. Flair mentions defending her titles with Asuka this weekend and entertaining the women entering the Women's Rumble match. Flair is also asked about her father, Ric Flair, and Lacey Evans. She's aware of Evans' intentions, but isn't worried about tonight as she is focused on Baszler. So, we have Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler. By the way, this is a first time ever match between these two. They have never faced each other one-on-one. So what does WWE do? Well, you can't have Shayna Baszler lose, and you can't have Charlotte Flair lose, because it's Charlotte fucking Flair, and she's not allowed to lose, plus she's a champion right now, so you're going to have her put Shayna Baszler in the figure for like 2-3 minutes into this match. Nia Jax comes out of nowhere, leg drops Charlotte Flair. So they start beating up on her. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke come down. Lacey Evans comes down. And what do you know? We get a 6-woman tag match. Because WWE are some of the laziest motherfuckers I have ever met in my life. So we come back. They're having a 6-woman tag match, which I called on Minds, by the way. So this match goes about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Flair warns Jackson Evans at ringside as they stare her down. Flair is out to bring Baszler back in, but apparently Baszler doesn't beat the 10 count, and the match goes to finish with a count out. Flair, Dana Brooke, and Mandy Rose win. The winners regroup, Shayna Baszler and Evans, and them are all yelling at the referee. We get to see, after that, we find out that Riddle is going to be in a gauntlet match. If he wins against the Hurt Business, out minus Bobby Lashley, he will get a future title shot against Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Now, we come back from break, And won another 6-woman tag match with these same 6 women, because Adam Pearce came out, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Lacey Evans are whining to him. They're having Baszler whine. Shayna Baszler, one of the toughest women, one of the most sadistic women in WWE history to come out of NXT, and they're having her stand out there with Adam Pearce, whining that the match didn't go her way, whining that that the referee counted too fast or something. Are you fucking kidding me? So this match happens again. They're beating the hell out of it. They're having the match, and then the finish. Nia Jax back to her hurting people's ways. As Brooks goes up top, but Jax cuts her off. Jax presses Brooke to the mat. She grabs Brooke for a powerbomb, but turns it into a chokeslam. And when I mean chokeslam, she didn't chokeslam her like she should. She picked her up and just threw her down to the ground. Dana Brooke's head smacked off of the mat, and she was like not moving at all. So what does Nia Jax do? Instead of saying, "Oh, is this woman like stopping for a minute just to see if Dana Brooke's all right?" No, she immediately goes and hits the leg drop, which in character that's what she should do. But my God, if Dana Brooke does not have a concussion, I would be fucking shocked. It's almost been a year since she took out Kairi Sane multiple times. And here she is again, hurting other talent. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This is why we have had many times hashtag Fire Nia Jax trending on social media. Because my word, this woman is so careless. Dana Brooke is not my cup of tea when it comes to a woman's professional wrestler. She's really not that good. She is improving a little bit, but she did not deserve this. Nobody deserved to have that happen to them. So the heels win anyway. Whoop-de-fucking-do. We see how Mace defeated Xavier Woods last week. We see in Mustafa Ali post-show interview he said get well soon to Kofi Kingston. Tom shows us a Twitter video from earlier today where Ali continued to yell at Kofi over how Kofi stole his WrestleMania 35 moment a few years ago. Kofi Mania, of course, was built off of the back of an injury to Mustafa Ali from Randy Orton. Here's my question. Yes, Kofi got started into that spot. Why are you not going after Randy Orton, who caused that injury? He's the reason that Kofi Mania happened. It's not Kofi Kingston's fault that WWE brass went to him and like, listen, we're going to put you in this spot and we'll just see where it goes. Kofi picked up the ball when you were forced to drop it because of Randy Orton. I know Randy Orton's facing The Fiend, but wouldn't it make more sense to go after Randy Orton? I mean, come on. I mean, that would make Randy Orton a babyface, and Randy Orton shouldn't be a babyface for the rest of his fucking career. But you see where I'm getting at this. Ali should be pissed off at Kofi for succeeding, I guess, but he should also be pissed off at the fact that Randy Orton caused him to be knocked out of that Elimination Chamber match. So we get the Slapjack versus Xavier Woods, Mace, T-Bar, Reckoning, and Ali are out there as well. And honestly, as people have noted online, Retribution is terrible and nobody cares about Retribution. Shane Thorne is the one man in this group that actually benefits from beating Retribution because it gives him TV time. Because honestly, Nick Miller of TM32, the Mighty and what the hell, it was TM36, wasn't it? Nick Miller was the workhorse. Nick Miller was the guy who was like the Shawn Michaels of that group. Shane Thorne was not going to do anything. And he hasn't done anything other than that 2-week run with MVP last year. Shane Thorne was not going to be doing shit. So they put him in Retribution, and it actually gets him TV time on Monday Night Raw, which he would never see the light of day as anything else other than that. So Xavier Woods actually gets the win here, hitting a Shining Wizard out of nowhere for the pin. After the match, he stares down Ali and exits the ring as the music starts up. Mace rushes the ring and distracts Woods, who is already on the floor. T-Bar runs over from the side and levels him with a big boot. They bring him into the ring. Ali sends Slapjack out to the steel chair. T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack hold up Woods. While Ali yells at him and holds the chair, he goes for a swing at Woods, but he stops, sets the chair down, and takes a seat. Has Reckoning bring him a mic. Ali says all Woods talk about wanting to be king of the ring, and he sure looks like a peasant right now. Like a real king, he will show mercy upon Woods, and for that, Woods will do exactly what he says by delivering a message to Kofi. He tells Woods to tell Kofi that he heard the sad, unfortunate news about how Kofi will not be at the Royal Rumble match, but tell Kofi not to fear, because a replacement has been found, and his name is Mustafa Ali. So basically, Ali's saying, hey, I'm in the Rumble, which Adam Pearce, a week or two ago, actually went on social media and defended why some talent can declare and why some talent can't. And he said that some talent, like management has a list of talent who can declare and talent who have to qualify. I honestly think that Mustafa Ali would be on the list of people who have to qualify because the guy hasn't done anything. Hasn't won a championship in WWE, period. Wait, was he Cruiserweight champion? If it was very, very short. Other than that, he hasn't done a damn thing. So he can declare, but a guy like Ricochet, North American champion, United States champion, has to qualify. Rono's walking backstage when R-Truth comes up and they do a bunch of stupid shenanigans. Don't give a shit. Moving on. Out comes the Hurt Business for the VIP Lounge. MVP is out here with the United States champion Bobby Lashley and the tag team champions Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. He talks about how good the Royal Rumble after party is going to be because of some musician that I've never heard of before is going to be. He's a Latin star. I have no idea what the fuck he is. I don't pay attention to music. It's all crap anyway nowadays. So, it also brings up the gauntlet match. It says Riddle may be a brain dead moron, but we need to focus the task at hand. He really makes sure to let Cedric know we need to focus on the task at hand. Now, Bobby Lashley talks about how good they all look in the gold and says it's just the beginning. MVP agrees, and Shelton starts to talk and wants to talk about just a year ago, Shelton was doing nothing, but Cedric interrupts and says, they've been on a roll lately, and it's all because of MVP. Lashley says because of that, they collected on some outstanding debts as token of appreciation to MVP. MVP is presented with a gold chain that says THB in diamonds. Also, THB stands for the Hurt Business, of course. Lashley said this is so he can be draped in gold like the rest of the gold group. MVP puts a chain on and says the Hurt Business is in business. He says he doesn't often at a loss of words, but he doesn't have the words. Cedric starts taking credit for it. Shelton Benjamin doesn't want to hear that. Out comes R-Truth to do his whole, we're just celebrating my birthday or something. Don't really care. Out come the goons. They get beat up. Matt Riddle in the commotion comes out, hits a final flash on MVP, runs away, and that's the end of the segment. So, Hurt Business is not going to be good business for very long. Truth is backstage hiding from the Hurt Business when Adam Pearce approaches. Truth wants to prove himself in the Money in the Bank match. I'm just going to stop right here. I remember Ron Killings, who is the guy who plays R-Truth, back in his TNA days, back when he was Ron the Truth Killings. He was a no-nonsense, pissed-off black man who wanted to be world champion and wanted to fight for whatever. And he was a hell of a fucking athlete, and TNA treated this guy for a while there as a serious threat in the wrestling world. He comes over to WWE, and they make him a comedy act. Because one day they're in Wisconsin. I think they were in Milwaukee, and he said, "Green Bay, Wisconsin, what's up?" And everyone got pissed off in the crowd. Of course, Michael Cole ripped him for that one on commentary. And from then on, Vince McMahon has made him his comedy act. And I never found any of this shit funny. It wasn't funny when it started, and it isn't funny now. Let Ron Killings be who he is, and that's a good professional wrestler, and enough of the comedy shit. AJ comes up and he's trying to say he wants a spot in the Royal Rumble match, and AJ wants to help to prove he's worthy. Pearce tells Truth to wrestle AJ tonight, and he will consider it. Pearce walks out, and Truth is his usual bullshit and with AJ until AJ and Almost walk off. Sheamus versus John Morrison for some reason. Of course, you're not going to have Drew McIntyre get involved because he's dealing with Goldberg. Where is Keith Lee? Keith Lee and him are supposed to have this respect. Some respect. Where is Keith Lee to, watch his back because the business out there? Anything can happen. Well, this was a pretty good match. Could it have been better? Yes. You gotta remember, you gotta think about this. It's been about a year that John Morrison has been back in WWE. He came back right before the Royal Rumble. Should have been a secret spot in the Royal Rumble instead of coming back right before it. But anyway, it immediately was saddled with The Miz. John Morrison, this guy, that Impact World Champion. He also won the main championship in Lucha Underground, if I'm correct. Did all this stuff all over the world. We're like, oh, this guy's going to come back. They're going to do great things with him. He's going to be a future WWE champion. And they saddle him in a tag team with The Miz as a clown for a year. John Morrison went from prospective potential WWE champion in the future to clown. Embarrassing clown. Last week is the tip of the shit Sunday, right? Last week. And here he is tonight, taking on Sheamus in a really good match. But should anybody care? Absolutely not. Sheamus wins with white noise, and that is that. But immediately, Miz takes the mic and says, Sheamus really wants to prepare for the Rumble. He needs to fight in a handicap match right now. Sheamus accepts. So we get a commercial break. We come back, and we have a 2-on-1 handicap match. John Morrison and The Miz versus Sheamus, who during the previous match got his knee hurt a little bit. And he's beat down. He's worn down. So, Sheamus puts up a hell of a fight. I mean, if you're trying to push Sheamus as a babyface, you couldn't do it any better than you did tonight. He fought, and he fought, and he fought, and he fought. Miz and Morrison couldn't keep this guy down until Bro kicked to John Morrison. Skull-crushing finale to Sheamus, and Miz and Morrison win. What did you prove in this match right here? Nothing. You proved that a guy who went through a match, got hurt, banged up, beat down, worn down, goes up against two guys, one that is fresh as a daisy, is going to struggle and most likely not beat a 2-on-1 handicap match. It's like, oh, you fucking stupid. I mean, we know that Sheamus is supposed to be a babyface right now, but yeah. Like, if they were going to build up, this would have been the time to have Keith Lee come out, and instead of making it a handicap match, you could have made it a tornado tag match. But no, they decided to go this route. I don't understand what the point was. We see Lacey Evans backstage in the locker room with Ric Flair, getting a little too friendly with a couple up and close and personal moves that they're trying to do. Charlotte comes in the doorway and looks not happy. She approaches and quietly orders Evans to leave. Flair isn't happy with his daughters, mentioning how he will always be himself. Charlotte talks about how, you mean the guy who spent all of his money on everyone else but his family? Which I don't fucking buy that one bit. And Flair mentions how she's the only one here to protect Flair, and he's now going from legend to old man, and she has no problem saying it to his face. They stare each other down, and Charlotte says a few words about it to her dad, and she backs away, noting that she's not the bad guy here, and that this was cute when she was a kid, but no more. Evans comes from behind, hits a woman's right. Flair looks on as he's about to check on Charlotte, but Evans pulls him away, and they head off as Ric Flair and telling Evans how to woo. In the hallway, Charlotte stares to recover as we go to commercial break. I really don't care. Ric Flair was punted, in quotation marks, punted off of TV last summer. Okay, you brought him back for Legends Night, whoop-de-fucking-do, but I don't want to see him on my TV. The guy's too old, he is an old man, and he's wasting our time every single week. Can we move the fuck on already? AJ Styles versus R-Truth. This one, I really didn't care. AJ Styles wins with the skull crusher, with the calf crusher. That's that. Asuka warming up backstage. We go to commercial break, and we look back at last week's promo from Randy Orton, who was wearing the mask due to the fireball attack by Alexa Bliss. We go backstage to Bliss now, and he's swinging on a swing at her Alexa's playground set. Bliss looks at the imaginary person in the swing next to her and says, "Last week was so much fun. Did you see what Orton's face looked like after we did what we did?" Bliss catches a replay on the TV and set nearby and laughs. She agrees with the visual person that Orton looks better for the record on last week. Bliss says she wanted to have fun with Asuka in her playground, but Asuka didn't want to play nice. We see what happened in that segment. She also didn't want to play nice last week when they had to see a replay of the Bliss versus Asuka match and how Bliss transformed into a darker version of herself during the match. Asuka, and finishing off Asuka with the sister Abigail for the non-title win. Bliss asked if we liked the trick. He taught her the move, and he taught her a lot of things, actually. She can't wait to see him again so she can thank him. Bliss chats with the Invisible Person some more and says tonight she has the chance to win a shiny new toy, and just like last week, she doesn't feel like playing nice. Last some more and keeps swinging the ring around the circle. Rosie nurses around. Bliss looks into the camera as we see a familiar flashes of the Fiend with her face. She mouths, "Let me in," with the Fiend voice to end the segment. So, it's... I know there's a lot of the, people in the wrestling community don't like what's going on with Alexa Bliss. You have, the Dave Meltzers and the Brian Alvarez who think this is terrible. But it's like, you want WWE to give you something different, and they give you something different, and then you shit all over it. Now, yes, there's a lot of shit in this show that is absolutely garbage. Anything Miz and Morrison do as of the last, 365 days plus, has been garbage. The Hurt Business is starting to become, it's like Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin win the tag team titles, and immediately there's tension, and they're going to be breaking it off soon, because I guarantee you, as soon as they lose those tag team titles, it's going to be Cedric's fault, and Cedric's going to get beat down and kicked out of the Hurt Business. That's what's going to happen, and it's obvious. But it's like, you could have at least let them be a unit for a good while before the tension started seeping in. It's like, they win the tag team titles, and then immediately, we got tension, Cedric's full of himself, and the other guys are getting annoyed with it. Give him at least 2 months before you do that. It's not that fucking hard. Gauntlet match for a United States title shot, but Matt Riddle versus the Hurt Business. So, Benjamin started the match. He was beating the hell out of Cedric, out of Matt Riddle. Riddle tried to do everything he can, and Cedric, for whatever fucking reason, decides he's gonna get on the apron. He distracts, but Riddle counters the pin attempt, more back and forth. Shelton rolls Riddle up, but Cedric distracts the referee from the apron again, ruining Shelton's pin. MVP yells at Cedric for the blunder. This leads to Riddle countering the rolling Benjamin up for a pin in the win. MVP enters the ring. Now, Benjamin comes out. They start arguing, and out of the blue, Matt Riddle rolls up MVP, 1, 2, 3, and that was that. We're down to Cedric Alexander. So, Cedric Alexander and MVP and Matt Riddle have themselves a hell of a match, which I hope Cedric Alexander is not, when he gets taken out of the Hurt Business, which I said is coming very, very soon, that it's not going to be one of those things where, oh, well, we did what we could with him, we could do something with him, but we're not going to, because it's not what Vince McMahon wants to do. Riddle comes back and applies a triangle choke. Cedric powers out of it and turns that hold into a powerbomb, which that move's getting way overdone. Riddle goes right back into the triangle. Cedric powers up, but he can't hit the powerbomb. They tangle, and Riddle rolls Cedric up for the 1, 2, 3, and he is going to get a U.S. title shot. He stands tall, celebrates as the Hurt Business fumes. Back up on the ramp, celebrates. Riddle celebrates, but here comes Bobby Lashley from behind. He destroys Riddle, puts him in the Hurt Lock, leaves him laying. They did not announce when Riddle would get his title shot, and that was that. So we go to a pre-recorded promo from Edge, who was in the ring somewhere. It says 2020 taught us a lot of things. You can't sleep on tomorrow. You got to fight for every day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So sometimes you find yourself in a place where you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep walking. He recalls how his career ended back in 2011, and his first start, when he first told his mom he was going to be a pro wrestler, she told him to just go do it. He talks about how the words made him fight for 9 years to get his career back, get his dream back, and then at Backlash last year, Orton gave him another reminder that everything you hold close can be torn away just like that. He says he knows what his mom would say. She would tell him to just go do it. So that, and with that in mind, he is entering the Royal Rumble, knows it won't be like last year and that the stakes are higher because he knows the window closes for him more and more every single day, so he needs to win the Rumble, headline WrestleMania, and take back what he never lost. Which, Edge, I don't know if you realize or something, but that title that you never lost has been deactivated for, 10 years now? The end of 2011, was it? Well, no, what was it? 2014? All I know is it's been deactivated for many, many years. Ed says if he would have a dream at some point, you have to fight to make it a reality, and he's going to fight with every breath in his body at the Rumble to make sure this last dream comes true. Ed says if you've been with him on this ride, you know he's got to try because the world without dreamers and fighters is so much less magical place. Goes on and says he thinks he can, and he will see us at the Rumble. Here's my thing. Nice promo from Edge, not a problem with it. Edge has been out since Backlash, May. Which is funny because that was the last pay-per-view I got to do on my old laptop before it kicked the bucket on me. I did that pay-per-view, I closed my laptop, I went to open up the next day, and it died, which, damn, that sucked. But, Edge, I don't expect many, if any, surprises at the Royal Rumble this year. Why would you have a surprise when there's no crowd to react to it? The whole idea behind the surprises is to pop the fans. But Edge coming back at the Rumble probably would have been a great surprise for people, even though, like I said, there's not going to be any surprises. If this would have been COVID restrictions weren't there, COVID would have, say COVID was cleared up in December, and we could have about half the Tropicana field filled up with fans, then this promo wouldn't have happened tonight. No way, no how, no so. You would have had Edge make his return at the Royal Rumble for another pop where everybody who is in Tropicana Field would just be sitting there and going crazy. But no, it's going to happen. Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. I'm liking what Alexa Bliss is doing. I'm liking her acting. She's doing a hell of a job. But this one went a little over the top. So this match starts off, Asuka's dominating from the beginning. Asuka gets knocked to the outside. We go back in the ring, and there's a rocking horse in the ring, and Alexa's playing on it. We go to commercial, we come back, it's gone. Okay. So they're wrestling a little bit more. Then, for whatever reasons, Alexa's original music plays because she's in the corner, and it's not the twisted Alexa Bliss, it's the goddess. And she's like, what? She's got this, she's trying to, she's crying and everything. And she's like, what the hell is going on? What am I doing here? What is going on? So Asuka charges in. She moves out of the way. So Asuka gets, Alexa walks to the other side of the ring, puts her hands on the ropes, on the second ropes. Then the lights go down. Lights come back on. And we have twisted, evil Alexa again. And Alexa is fighting. She's blocking everything. Asuka gets a kickoff. Asuka tries to put her in the Asuka lock. No good there. As Alexa gets the Mando Claw on. Looks like she's going to seal it in. She's going to win the Women's Championship. And all of a sudden, Randy Orton, who is not wearing his mask, comes from behind, pulls Alexa Bliss in, turns her around, drops her with an RKO. Orton gets back up. Bliss is laid out in the middle of the ring. The final Raw before the Royal Rumble goes off the air. Now, like I said, I will praise Alexa Bliss because she was seamless from each and every one of her iterations that they did. She was just everything. From the happy-go-lucky 11-year-old kid to the goddess who's like, what the fuck is going on? And to evil Alexa. She's great at that. I love the fact that she's doing, her acting skills are great at this. But this one a little over the top. I mean, come on. Did we really need to see 3 wardrobe changes for Alexa Bliss? And then Randy Orton, who, nice makeup job, had half of his face burned, which was smart, because it only went off the one side of his face. But still, if you're going to show with the mask last week and you didn't want to show everyone what's wrong with it, why did you not wear it tonight? Randy Orton should have showed up in the middle of the ring with the mask on, hit the RKO, and we go to commercial break. Two things. We wouldn't see Randy Orton without the mask on until the Royal Rumble. That's what I would have done. But the match ends, the show ends. Asuka is still your women's champion. I guess you're going to call it a disqualification. Alexa Bliss wins. I don't fucking know. There was no bell. He hit the RKO and stared at Alexa Bliss as she's down. Ref just stood there still as if nothing, as I was like, what the fuck do I do? And we went off the air with no, like, oh, the winner of this match by disqualification is Alexa Bliss. No. So, I don't know. That is Monday Night Raw. Just a little too over the top on that one. I don't blame any of the characters involved because they're just doing what WWE gives them. But it is what it is. It's what WWE is going to do. We'll have our predictions for the Royal Rumble at SmackDown's review. This is your Monday Night Raw review. It was decent at best. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys Wednesday when the night of wrestling takes us to a whole new level as we see what's going on with the AEW and everything else. Until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.